Ladies and gentlemen, please welcome to the stage Notch and Vu for their Fireside Chat.
Hello.
Hello.
There's not actually fire. We're not allowed to have it for real. So just feel the warmth of us.
Isn't that one real?
Is it still fiery? Oh, no?
Okay.
That's us.
Okay.
Our warmth is all you get. So we're going to spend a little time talking to Notch.
Hello.
And at the end of this, we're going to actually take audience questions. We have a mic set up. We'll be able to take your questions. So think really hard about what you want to know. But first, let's get started with the deep, deep, deep questions of where it all began. As a baby.
Yeah, toddler.
A toddler, yes, actually. Babies don't use computers. No. Where did you get started as far as your first computer? What was it?
Well, my dad bought a Commodore 128, and that was the first computer I ever played with. And it kind of quickly became my computer because I kind of took it over. And we were subscribing to this magazine, and it had the code listings in it. So me and my sister spent some time just typing that in, and that's kind of how we got started with programming.
So what were the first, what was the first program? Obviously that may be tough because you write some code. But what was the first finished product you ever had?
Oh, I was very bad at finishing stuff. I kind of started projects and never finished anything, and then started new ones over and over again. It wasn't until I was much older I actually finished like a game.
How old?
I do not remember.
So, going through being a kid who loves computers and plays with computers all the time, how did that actually then morph into your career as actually writing code and finishing games sometimes?
Well, I kind of always knew I wanted to be a game programmer, and back then that wasn't really a real career. Now there's like an education for it and there are schools for it, but back then there was nothing. So people would kind of tell me, no, you need to get a real job, but I refused. And then I got some jobs doing games programming, and it kind of went from there. And then I think when I worked for King.com is when I really learned to finish games, because I made like 30 games over 5 years there.
I know, I see this all the time on Twitter, on Facebook, people just asking because they're curious. How many people here want to become a game developer? I think that's it's like 80%. Like, what kinds of advice do you have for people who are interested in that? I mean, no one can replicate someone else's story. Everyone's going to do something different, but there's always great tidbits you can give. Like, what are the kinds of things that you think that they should focus on and be interested in?
Well, I think actually working on it is more important than thinking about it. So if you just get started, even if it's not something big or even if it's just small, to just try to make games or look at tutorials or play with code other people have made or something. And then also to keep a critical eye towards what you're doing, because it's very easy to just assume what you're doing is good because you're used to it. But if you try to see it with like the eyes of a new player, it helps a lot.
So, okay. That is tidbit.
Thank you.
That's tidbit number one. Let's talk a little bit about the development of Minecraft. So before then, you were working, you had regular job-ish job. How did you actually get started on developing Minecraft? It's not your first game.
No, I've been making, I was doing games for like competitions like Ludendare and the Java 4K competition and such in my spare time. And then I've been working at King for 4.5 years, and I decided I wanted to make something for myself. So I kind of quit that job and got started on Minecraft. I got a day job as a web developer, which lasted a couple of months until I dropped part-time. Then I quit that fully after a few more months because Minecraft just took off like crazy.
And when it got, like, when you were starting Minecraft, this is the question that everyone asks you, but I'm going to ask anyway. Like, what was your plan with the game? I mean, were you developing this as one of those just personal projects where it's like, I'm just going to see where this goes, or did you have a plan?
Yeah, the idea was kind of to make a personal project that was supposed to be profitable. So the idea was to spend 6 months on it, kind of failed that, and then to have it kind of recoup the cost, so I could make another game after that. So that's kind of why I started charging for it so early. I saw Cortex Command did that, and I was kind of interested by that kind of monetization idea of like having the fans pitch in and help you develop it. Yeah, that was kind of the plan, and then it just blew up.
So I mean, in a lot of cultures, societies, like the kind of path that you're told to take is very much a structured path that goes through school and then more schooling, then starting at a company that is involved in the kind of thing that you want to do and moving up through the ranks, and then possibly at some point you develop that into something. You took a slightly different route than that. Like, what do you think are the strengths of being someone who grew up with computers and then turned something you just loved into what you did in the future, as opposed to just moving through that path where you may have to you choose your job when you choose your major going into college?
Yeah, I think the difference there is kind of people who do something as their job and as their hobby, you get so much more experience so much faster. So you can kind of skip a few of the steps, I think. I think it's very important to know you're never going to be an expert right off the bat. You have to, because I've been programming since I was 8, and I'm far from an expert still. And it's like you can't expect the first thing you do to be a hit, so having a few jobs is such is probably a good idea, because before King I didn't know how to finish games. So that was a huge experience for me. Yeah, but since I did it as a hobby as well, I kind of got to learn faster than just doing it as a job.
So when Minecraft, when you first released the beginning parts, I don't know the full story of how this went, but the first time I did hear it, and I don't remember it all, it was very interesting. So you had released this on forums and kind of shared it very early in the stages. Like, how is that different from what we usually see, where you go, even with indie games, you're buying a finished product or finished-ish product, but your product was out there that people could play and be a part of and give input, like right from the beginning. Like, why did you even decide to do that?
I think, well, Cortex Command was an inspiration for that, and also roguelikes, which are really nerdy, kind of text-based games. They kind of do really early releases and kind of keep doing releases. They're usually free, but I just charge for mine. Like, here's an unfinished game, please pay me. Yeah, so that's the answer.
That's the answer. So, like, okay, now you see a lot of this Kickstarter funding and Indiegogo, and these are ways that people are getting their games out. When you had done yours, it wasn't quite like that, but it ended up being kind of the same community spirit. How do you think people should go about developing their games? Do you like that model, the community-driven model, to come out with a product that people don't actually know even what's coming out yet?
I think it kind of depends what type of game you're making. For a game that's very sandboxy like Minecraft, it fits well to release it early, because you can kind of keep iterating and adding features. If you do a very story-driven game, you can't really release it early and kind of keep iterating on the story, because people will get tired of the story after playing it like a couple of times. Yeah, so it definitely depends on that. And for Kickstarter, I think it's a bit of a risk when the projects get too big, because then you're not really sure what you're kind of paying for. So it's important when you do chip into a Kickstarter, you don't see it necessarily as an investment, but more like almost charity-like, like this is what I want and I really like these developers or something. Because otherwise you might end up being disappointed eventually. But so far, the stuff Kickstarter have all been good, so I've been lucky.
What are some of the favorite projects that you've funded, just personally?
Oh, there's so many. Well, the Maya game looks amazing, and then now there's a new Elite game. The Wastelands 2, it's a fun one. Of course, the Oculus Rift is going to be amazing.
So you really believe in this model, this crowdsourced model, but how much, see, you have taken and allowed the community to have input in the game from the start, right? Like, they were able to buy a very, very early version, but then you actually took their input and then put that into the game, and we still kind of have that spirit. at Mojang, that the community does know what they want, and you can't take every suggestion, but you'll take many of them. Like, how do you think that that is going to develop games different from a team of, people who are making those decisions internally in a box?
Well, I think it's important that you differentiate between just like doing what the fans tell you to do or just getting feedback. Because I think it's important, it's a personal opinion, I think games should be made by the game developers, and that you should let them make the decisions and make them make mistakes with the game, because then the games are a much more personal experience. I'm not really sure I believe in the idea of crowdsourcing the game design. It might fit for some games, like if you're doing like an esports game or something. But in other games, I want to see more of the personalities behind it.
I do feel like if you have too many ideas from too many places, and what you end up with, because you can only take the general consensus things, you'll have a very homogenized product that's just kind of like...
Yeah, that's also true.
You'll only get like the core of everything, and you'll never take any risks. So with Minecraft, right, 1.0 came out just over a year ago, and why did you decide not to continue as the lead developer when you had passed it on to Jens?
Well, I think mostly because I tend to get really bored with things after like 3 years. So, like when I worked at King for 4.5, that's the longest I ever kept a job. So I think I felt like I had expressed the parts of the game that I wanted to express, like the block building and all that, and now it was more an iterative process, and Jens was doing such an amazing job at that already, and he was much better at actually like working with the community. I could sometimes feel a bit threatened by like community mods because they were doing things better than I could do it. So I kind of went, no, it's time to hand this over to Jens and try to make a new game.
So, like, how do you feel about the game now? When you look at it, I mean, I played the game, I haven't played heavily for over a year. And when I look at videos, like that video that Hat Films made and all the new features and things, it's amazing how far it's come. Like, when you look at that stuff, like, how do you feel with your sense of ownership versus where it has gone?
Yeah, I'm very impressed with what we're doing, actually. It's a lot of fun. Sometimes I hear about, like, new features from Twitter or something. I haven't even seen it in the office. But I think Jens has this really interesting ability to make like procedural houses and stuff that actually feel interesting to me somehow. And I kind of wish I could do that. So it's very fun to see it happen.
So what's your favorite part about what you had done? Like from back in the beginning? Like what's the thing you're really proud or happy about?
Oh, there's so much. I think like on a technical standpoint, switching the game over to kind of the infinite terrain was a huge deal. What else? Well, the lucky accident of the creeper was a good one. It's very iconic.
It
was a pure accident.
And what did explain that accident?
So yeah, all the models in the game I made as code because I can't use like 3D software. So I basically went box here, box there, box there, and I tried to make a pig. And instead of making it long, I accidentally made it tall. So it was a really tall pig with like 4 tiny feet stuck together in the middle. And it's like, that is very creepy looking. And that's where the name came from.
That's actually the story of how that happened.
Yeah.
So then how did you decide to make them blow up?
I don't remember the actual process, but I think it was inspired by some enemies from other game, but I don't remember the actual process. It was just like playing around with it and just making it explode was kind of, I don't know, it seemed to fit the shape of the character somehow.
Yeah. So, the game has gone beyond a game now. It actually has. It's changing what some people even do for a living, right? We have all kinds of YouTubers who are here this weekend, and they make their entire living off of doing content for the Minecraft community. What is that like, actually feeling the extent of your vision going out there?
Well, that is kind of the true Minecraft. I kind of feel like I made a game, and then the community kind of made the community around the game, and the combination of the two is kind of the true Minecraft. So it's way more than just the game I made about just chopping rock kind of slowly. Because, for example, creative mode is not what I wanted in the game at all, but it's in the game because a lot of people use it. And then people are doing really cool mods, and they're doing really intricate stuff like abusing bugs in redstone so we can't fix it. And it's turned into something much bigger, and it's very impressive. And it's very fun to be able to be part of that.
So speaking of mods, from the beginning, there were people making mods, doing all kinds of crazy things. The first time I played, I installed a mod that had unicorns and stuff in it, right?
Yeah.
Like, you have kind of allowed that to happen, and then now we have the development of a mod API. Like, how do you feel that that has affected the game itself, or what part of that is in the plan?
What part is in the plan?
That made no sense.
Okay.
I stated that question entirely wrong. What I meant was, like, how did all of this modding kind of fit into what you were originally trying to do?
The modding wasn't in the plan at all from the start. It just, because I was doing it in Java, it was so easy to modify the code. And then people started playing with it, and I thought, well, that's awesome. I also felt a bit threatened, like, as a programmer and a game designer, but I decided, like, I'm not gonna do anything about it. I'm just gonna let people do it. I'll just, if I feel threatened, I'll just look the other way around or something. And then we decided to do the mod API, but that turned into a bit of a problem because the API now, which is basically the entire source code, it's so much better than any API we could ever make. So we're trying to figure out how to do that now.
How do you think that the modding, like, has that affected the game development at all? I mean, sometimes it's inevitable that people will do things with what you've created that are good ideas, and then you may implement those ideas later. Like, how much does that come into play?
Yeah, that's actually, back when I was working, me and Jens, Jens would find these cool mods that added something that we kind of wish we had done. Like the smooth lighting is probably the biggest one. So we worked with that guy to actually add it to the game proper. And there are a few other things like that. I don't remember which ones exactly now, because I got put on the spot. But it's, I think, the smooth lighting is like the perfect example of that.
Like, so, I mean, this happens with other things as well. Like, Apple makes an iPhone, people jailbreak it, and then they write all of these jailbroken apps for it, and then later you see those features in there. Was there ever a point where you really felt, okay, this is actually valuable to us as a resource of seeing what people can do with this, or was it truly just an accident and that's how it just kind of played out?
No, when I saw people started making mods, it kind of, it made me think back to like Half-Life and Doom and other things people have been modding, and I know that that's been really good for the community for those games. So I always saw it as a big benefit.
So the indie gaming community at large, like, you've invited some indie gamers here. They have panels here through the entire weekend. Like, you obviously support that whole feel. Mojang itself, although it is an independent company, has grown quite large. Like, what kind of camaraderie do you still feel with that indie community, and why is it so important to you?
I think it's, I try to avoid the like indie kind of label because it implies it's not real games, and you don't really need to make the distinction. But to me, it's the indie scene has kind of made it possible for very small studios to make games, which again brings out the personality in a big way. And that's something I really, really like in games. You can, like when you're playing V, it's 6 Vs, by Terry Kavanagh, you really feel like you're kind of playing his game. And then you play Super Hexagon and you kind of curse and break your phone.
So going back when you were starting, I mean, there's so many starting areas, but like, who have been kind of your inspirations, or what games, like what was the one that just kept you going, like thinking about while you were developing your own stuff?
Oh, there's a lot. I think there's a lot of like Westwood games, especially like the Eye of the Beholder series, which is a total rip-off of Dungeon Master. And then of course Doom and like Populous and other Peter Molyneux games, of course. And then the Ultima series. There's a lot of like these games, and like a common theme in most of them is like it's a really, there's one individual kind of strong designer behind them.
So you're wearing this shirt.
Yeah.
You're calling this 10 to the C?
Yeah. There's no official pronunciation. I just say 10 to the C.
That's what you say. Can you tell us a little bit about this?
Well, I'm trying to make a space game, and I'm not sure it's going to be fun yet. I think it is. There's a backstory, and there's like a laser gun, and you can jump. And eventually you'll have like an entire spaceship that you and your friends can kind of try to keep alive in a very desolate future. And hopefully it turns into like a chaotic but fun experience of like crash landing into a planet and having to scavenge resources to fix your ship and stuff like that. Right now it's just an empty ship to run around in.
So you've put out clips already, people have seen it. Like following Minecraft, and then you took a little time where you weren't coding, and now you're getting back into it. I see you sometimes like just happily coding. How much of it is affected by the fact that you've already made Minecraft and now you're making this new game? Do you think about that a lot, like what that means?
Yeah, that was right after I kind of stepped down. That was a big thing. I was like, there's no way I could ever follow this up, and do I need to follow it up, or how should I do that, and how should I think about it? And then after a while, I just started missing programming, and I had this space idea for a long time, so I just started working on that. I'm like, yeah, this is actually fun. It's kind of a very nerdy game because it's like an actual working CPU in it, and it's gonna be like you have to work together in a team, possibly. So I'm definitely not expecting it to sell anywhere near as much as Minecraft, which kind of takes some pressure off.
So speaking of that, I mean, Mojang also has the game Scrolls, which you are not an active developer on. But like, can you tell us a little bit about like when you decided to actually, when Mojang decided to actually develop Scrolls, and like what was the plan behind that? And now we actually have a game that people can play.
Yeah, it was. I was working on Minecraft on my own, and it was kind of started to take off. And me and Jacob had this game idea. Was kind of the core seed for Scrolls. It's changed a bit now, but it's a game we wanted to do. So we discussed like, let's just like start a company, and I can work on like, or actually the first idea was he would go part-time. We would work on Scrolls like 2 days a week, and I work on Minecraft the rest. And then we just decided to start a company, so he could work on Scrolls and I can work on Minecraft. So that's how that got started.
And how much like input do you have in the development of Scrolls? Are you involved at all?
In Scrolls, no, I don't get involved at all, because I don't want to like make Jacob feel like I'm trying to tell him what to do.
Do you play Scrolls?
I have never played Scrolls.
Never?
It's true, I've never ever played Scrolls. It's turned into a fun thing now, where I will kind of watch people play, but I've never played it. So I'm gonna wait until like, I don't know, the full release or something, and then we can like live stream you playing it or something.
I think that'll probably be a pretty big thing then. Okay, so there was something I wanted to bring up. I had asked you before because I think a lot of people are interested in this, but you've made a lot of posts, blog posts and tweets about patents. And I think people would be very interested to hear like what is like one coherent maybe message of like kind of your thoughts on this. Like this is something that affects everyone. There's copyright, there's trademark, there's patents.
Yeah.
But I think your contention with the system is mostly about the patent system.
Yeah. Well, basically, the difference between the three is a trademark is the right to use a name. Like you have a product and you call it product B. And you don't want other people to say, this is product B, and kind of confuse your customers. And then you have copyright, which is if you actually make something, you get to decide how it gets distributed. And then you have patents, which is even one step further removed, which is you have an idea, and someone else can't use that idea. And the sharing of ideas is how all of society has happened, more or less. You can't just go, oh, I thought of stairs. That's a very clever way of getting up. And you can't make stairs now. It's not you can't steal my stairs, because that's copyright, but it's you can't make stairs at all. But what if we make a slightly different stair? No, I patented the process of getting up. And it's very, very harmful. The idea behind patents is to reward inventors who come up with these really complex ideas and spend a lot of money trying to figure stuff out, especially like in medicine. But in a field like software, where innovation is so fast, I mean, a piece of software that's 5 years old is outdated by far, and the patents last much longer than that. And it's just very bad for everyone. And if you look at what's going on with like patent lawsuits and stuff, it's not good at all.
So how do we fix this? Is
Well,
that an answerable question?
Yeah, we get rid of all patents. We maybe keep medical patents.
Do you think you can make that happen?
No,
Okay. Just wanted to know.
I will try.
In a little bit, we're going to go ahead and start taking questions from the audience. So I believe the microphone is over here. Can you guys go ahead and start a line over here? Please don't run. I see you all running right now. Over here, see where that light just came on in that microphone? We're going to line up there and take questions from the audience. So if you have a question for Markus, for Notch, now is the time to line up, and then you can ask it.
Hello.
Hello.
What inspired you to make the spider jockey?
I think it's actually, I started adding code so like different animals could ride on like minecarts and stuff, and everything that can actually move around in the game could ride something else that can move around. So I just think, just because it seemed like a terrifying idea, decided, well, let's just put a skeleton on a spider and see what happens. And then it turned into this like really horrifying creature. So I kept them in mostly as an Easter egg, actually.
So how many of your ideas are just like that? You just implement an idea that comes to your head rather than actually thinking it all the way through?
Like in percentage, or? I don't know.
No, I mean, like, is that a big part of the way that you develop? Like, just kind of throwing it out there, seeing if it works?
Yeah, I think lucky accidents are a big part of like game design, actually.
So as opposed to a fully thought out idea?
Yeah.
Go ahead.
I was thinking about Optifine and the Minecraft texture packs. When you don't use like texture pack patchers and Optifine, they look very weird. Oh yeah. I was thinking about, are you planning on making Optifine and MC Patcher maybe a part of the game, because it would make it much simpler to make HD texture packs and use them?
I don't know. You're going to have to ask Jens. I think that's probably a good idea.
Yeah, it's just very complicated.
And guys, keep in mind that Markus is no longer the lead developer of Minecraft, and later today we will have another panel that there will be Markus and Jens at the same time. So if you have like future Minecraft development questions, this is probably not the session to ask. But go ahead.
A while ago you had a game of Quake with Team Evo and you won. Did they actually write that song they promised they would?
Yes, they did. I think I retweeted it.
Okay.
Do you think that Minecraft will grow bigger than, or will grow as big as some of the world's leading games?
In some senses, I think it's already bigger than a lot of them. Mostly because the community is so amazing. I mean, if you look at the number of YouTube videos, I think Minecraft is the #1 game in the world, of like just content out there for it. In number of units sold, I don't think that's important.
That's you guys, the community. Yay on you!
Hey, community.
I've had a question I wanted for a long time. When Minecraft was just starting, or at least I read that there were a lot of different things, like the zombie boys and Steves and the Ranas and stuff.
The what?
When Minecraft was really different, you know, when it just started. Because did we make a video out a long time ago about gears, like on very early Redstone?
Oh, yeah.
I just wondered what happened actually there. Why is it so different today?
Well, I mean, some features they don't really work out, so you get rid of them. The gears had like, you couldn't like place the gears in a corner because the gears would kind of turn into themselves and stuff. So I changed it over to redstone to kind of emulate wiring instead. And there are other features that just been scrapped because they didn't feel right.
I haven't been keeping up with the scrolls much, so could you explain exactly what it is? And another quick question, does your wife play any of your games?
Scrolls is like a card trading game / strategy game with kind of turn-based strategy on a hex grid, because if you have hex grids, it's a real game. and you can kind of win new cards and challenge other players and try to make a strategy. And yeah, Elin plays like all of my games.
Hi. What is under your hat?
Sorry?
What is under your hat?
Oh, a lack of hair.
Thanks.
Welcome.
Hello. What is your favorite part of Minecraft?
To me, it's just exploring. Like either like logging into a server somewhere and just checking out what people done, and just new world, and then like run around and try to survive for as long as possible.
Thank you.
Hi.
Yes.
I forgot my question.
Sorry.
Was yeah, in the beginning of Minecraft, would you ever think that Minecraft would be this big?
No, not at all. I was expecting it to be like a 6-month project, and like hopefully I'd sell like a couple of thousand copies.
Okay, thank you.
How did you come up with the name Notch, first of all?
Well, I had a really horrible nickname, and I just decided to change it. Wrote down a bunch of different options, and I went with Notch.
Okay. And will you sign Michael?
After this, yeah. If I have time.
Are you planning on adding any future mobs to Minecraft?
Ask Jens.
Do you plan on developing Minecraft again?
If I'm planning on going back to developing? I don't think so, no.
That's a good question.
Yeah, that's a good question. It's tempting. I think if we like come up with something new to do, like we come up with a new angle or something, I might be tempted to jump back in. But right now, I just feel like we'd bother the guys who are working on it.
How happy are you that there's so many people here today?
Oh, I'm incredibly happy. The community is the reason we're here at all, so I'm so happy.
Thanks.
Out of all the famous Minecraft YouTube celebrities, which do you think is the most entertaining and why?
Oh, wow.
That's a stunning question.
And why? I think the videos that entertain me the most are the videos that kind of exploit bugs in the game. And I can't think of any specific one that does that, but it's like whenever there's a video that kind of shows up weird behavior in like mob traps or something, and those are the ones that entertain me the most. I can't really think of anyone who does just that, but those are my favorite videos by far.
Hi there. Just wanted to ask, do you know who Base Code are? And if so, what's your opinion on them?
Base Toad?
Yeah.
No, sorry, I don't.
Okay, that's fine.
Would you ever think if like Minecraft development will finish, like some year or something?
Yeah, probably. I assume so. I mean, if the entire community gets tired of the game, then there's no point in still developing it. And I could also see a future like if the modding really takes off, it turns more into then it's more like community owned. So then I think it's more important that we kind of maintain the modding rather than keep developing the game. Maybe. We'll see.
Thank you.
Hi. Notch, do you still play Minecraft recreationally, or did you stop playing Minecraft altogether when you stopped developing for it directly?
I probably stopped playing it properly I don't know, summer of last year, kind of, because I played it so much. I still play it sometimes, but not as much as I used to.
So when new content comes out, you don't try that as well, or?
Well, sometimes I'm not even aware it's there. I just see a tweet about something like, what? There are witches now? So.
Thanks.
Thank you.
Hey, do you prefer when you were coding for Minecraft or for X10C?
Well, some of my best coding memories are definitely Minecraft coding. In the space game now, it's right at the beginning of a project, which is really, really fun. Because it feels like you could do anything, and you haven't figured out that you can't yet.
Okay, thanks.
If you were able to learn any single programming language instantly, inside out, what would it be?
Haskell.
Thank you.
Where did you get the idea of giving the skeleton a bow and arrow, not a sword, or just without anything like the zombie?
I think I wanted to differentiate them from zombies. It was very early, I don't remember. I think I just wanted a ranged enemy in the game, and I didn't want zombies and skeletons to be the same.
Hello, Notch. I've been playing Minecraft since beta 1.3, but recently I've started to get into Redstone, and when you added Secret Friday, whenever I can't remember. But like when you made it, was it hard to make, or was it surprisingly simple? And should I take a look at the code to try to help me understand it better?
The redstone, it was fairly easy to add. It's the idea behind it was to have something that was like Turing complete, where you could make anything. So it's basically an OR gate and there's a NOT gate, and then that gives you a NOR gate, so you can do anything. There was some kind of problems with like figuring out how far they should spread, and like what about loops and stuff. For us, it was not that difficult to implement.
Thank you.
Hello. Did you ever plan any other names apart from Minecraft for the game?
Yeah, Minecraft was actually suggested by, I think, the TIG-Source community. And before that, I think it was called like Cave Game or something like that, because I didn't have a real name for it. And very briefly, it had the subtitle Order of the Stone or something.
Okay, thank you.
What inspired you to make the Wither?
Jens made the Wither. I don't know what inspired him to do that. I asked him as well.
Will the graphics in OX10C just look like a space version of Minecraft?
Well, I guess in a sense, Jonathan is doing the graphics. He's doing like really good, like low poly, pixel textures kind of stuff. But it's definitely not going to be block based. So it's going to have like more angles and corners and things like that. So it's not going to have the same aesthetic, but it's still going to be pixel based.
Thank you very much.
Yeah, my question is, what's the story behind zombies dropping feathers?
I think I didn't have chickens back then, or ducks or whatever you are, and I needed a source of feathers, and zombies weren't dropping anything. So kind of as a joke, I made the zombies drop the feathers.
Okay, thank you.
Hey Notch, what do you think will happen with the YouTube community when Minecraft will die, or it's going to be over?
I don't think Minecraft will die until the YouTube community dies, so I think that's kind of hand in hand. So I can't really see how the game would die before the community.
And that's a good thing.
Yeah.
Is Steve meant to be named after someone?
I think it's from a Flight of the Conchords song, when they asked who said that, was it Steve? And I just find the name Steve as a question to be very funny.
Thanks.
I'm sorry if your name is Steve, by the way.
What was the most difficult part in the development of Minecraft?
I think probably multiplayer. Yeah.
Hey Notch, do you believe the cake is a lie?
Well, it's more of an exaggeration, I'd say. It's more of a metaphor of our internal struggle. So saying that there is cake at the end is, well, it is true, but it's not really the point of it all.
Thank you.
It's not the cake, it's the journey.
Wow, really? Thank you.
Notch, what has been your favorite update in Minecraft's history?
Oh, the infinite maps. It totally changed the game into something else.
How do you say j'aime la France?
If you tell me what it means. I'm so glad I didn't say it.
I want to say something. I don't believe in God, I believe in Notch.
Wow, thank you.
What inspired you to put the Nether into Minecraft?
Oh, good question. I actually don't remember. I don't remember at all. That's a very good question.
Maybe it's a nightmare that you've forgotten now.
Oh, maybe.
Hello. Do you follow the internet community of Minecraft in YouTube or Twitch TV?
Yeah, not really on Twitch that much. I actually mostly watch speedruns on Twitch. But yeah, YouTube and like Reddit. I don't really read forums anymore because it took up all my time. But like YouTube and Reddit, yeah.
Hello, do you think Mojang is also independent studio?
Sorry, I couldn't hear.
Mojang is also an independent studio.
I'm having a hard time hearing what you're saying, sorry. Is someone here?
I'm not getting... Maybe one more time?
Do you think Mojang is almost an independent studio?
Oh. In some senses, yes. I think the term indie has been... it's so important to a lot of people who have smaller teams than us and have not as much exposure that I don't want to call us indie because we're not in that sense. I mean, we are technically independent, but so is Valve Software and Blizzard. Actually, Blizzard aren't anymore. But I would answer no.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Why did you invent Minecraft?
I just wanted to make a game, I guess, and I wanted to see if I could get paid for it.
Okay, thank you.
Hi, Notch.
Hi.
You inspired me to make video games, and I wonder, what's the best tip you can give to a fellow programmer?
Well, program a lot. That's
Yes.
probably a very good
What's the
approach.
best tip you can give to a fellow game programmer or designer?
Be nice to the media. It actually works. And get other people to play your game and watch them play it.
Okay, thank you.
Hi. What are your thoughts on a lot of the common business practices with the big publishers such as EA and Activision, with things such as online passes and Day 1 DLC?
I think a lot of that stems from their fear of piracy, which I find irrational and silly. I understand why if you have shareholders, you have some kind of responsibility and have to make a best effort or something, so I don't think they're necessarily evil people for doing it, but I just think it's misguided.
Thanks a lot.
Why do you wear that type of hat? Was it given to you for any reason? Do you like it?
Actually, Jacob was wearing a hat, and I kind of started wearing a hat as well as not really a joke, but just because I went, oh, that's a piece of clothing you can wear. And that's kind of when I started doing interviews for Minecraft, so it kind of stuck as an iconic thing. So I mostly just wear it because it's part of the image now.
Thank you.
If 50 people asked you to add Herobrine back into Minecraft, would you do it?
No, I'm probably removing him again.
And if there was one thing you could remove from Minecraft, what would it be?
Half-size blocks, I'm sorry.
What do you like most in the world?
Most from?
Most in the world.
Wow. Wow, there's so much. I think just like a relaxing evening with friends is probably the top one. Or when you have been kind of ill and then you're over it and you just realize that you're healthy, that is a very nice feeling.
Oh, and why isn't Minecraft on Steam yet?
I don't know, because we don't really need to be on Steam. And yeah, that's the only reason.
Hi. I get an itching, burning sense. Sorry. Flashback from Family Guy.
I see. It's funny. It's a good show.
As a Linux developer from Gen 2, how much has open source influenced what you do? And would you ever fully open source it to increase the scope of the game?
Yeah, I think open source is a very good movement. I think GPL is slightly too draconian, if you want to know my exact opinion. I think GPL is slightly too draconian, like it's all or nothing, which I'm more into, like a free sharing of, well, share ideas and share code if you want.
A bit more like the Apache license.
Yeah. And then, when I started Minecraft, I said whenever it dies, I'm going to release the source for it. I can't really promise that as much these days because I'm not the only one in the company, but that is my intention, so I will convince people, like, whenever we stop selling it, we'll just release it.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Hello. So regarding 0x10c, do you have a rough idea when it may go to alpha? Even the roughest idea?
Yeah, I have, but every date I say publicly, even no matter how vague I make it, I get hate mail for missing, and I miss every single date I give. So, yeah.
Still, thanks.
Thank you.
During the development of Minecraft, there was in the code there was Skyrim. Why did you start developing that part, and why did you not fully finish it?
The Skyworld was back before the maps had infinite size, and when I tried doing that with the infinite maps, it kind of turned into a problem with the lighting, because it had to do like it's a very expensive 3D flood fill of lighting that it has to do for every chunk. So it was way too slow to do it. I know there are mods that do it now, but that is kind of the reason why the Nether is indoors and the end is kind of not lit by that type of light.
Thanks.
Hey Notch, what Minecraft update was the most fun to make?
Oh, there's a lot of them. I don't remember exactly what went in each update, but I think when I was doing the Secret Fridays, I was in such a productive zone that that entire area was just so much fun. So much pretty game-changing stuff got added back then. So those updates probably.
Okay, thanks.
What's your favorite mob?
It's probably either the duck chicken thing or the creeper.
Thank you.
Following the development of Minecraft, why did you elect to write your own game engine for 10 to the C instead of using commercial middleware?
I think I like the challenge of trying to learn to write a game engine, and that programming is a lot of fun to me. And then it gives you a lot of control of the tiny details in the game. At least I want when you jump in a game, it should feel specific for that game. And if you use the ready-made engine, there's a slight risk of it feeling similar to the other games. But I still think it's slightly a bad idea to write your own engine.
Hi Notch.
Hello.
If you had your time again, would you do anything differently to Minecraft?
Yeah, I'd get started on multiplayer way earlier. And also I would have done half-sized bricks.
Why did you shape the creeper like it is?
Shape that?
Why did you shape the creeper as it is?
Well, it was supposed to be a pig, and I just made an error, and it turned into that shape.
What do you think makes Minecraft such a fun and addicting game to play?
I think it's a large part of it that you get a lot of like personal experiences. So when you're playing, it's like a random level generated world, so it's kind of unique for you, and you get to build and express your own expressiveness. And it also happens to be fun to kind of see what other people have been doing, which is probably why it's so big on YouTube, because it's kind of interesting to look at, because it's very diverse. I think that's the main reason.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Do you plan on implementing a drop item for bats? If so, would you use an item already in-game or implement a new item?
Ask Jens. Sorry.
Do you ever think you're going to make a different game than Minecraft? Like another game besides Minecraft?
Yeah, I'm working on a space game now.
Hi. How has the success of Minecraft and Mojang in general changed you as a person? And what's your favorite snooze?
I hope it hasn't changed me too much. I'm obviously not that stressed about like monetary issues, of course, but I don't think it's changed me on a personal level. And my favorite snooze is General Perkun White.
Hello?
Hello?
If you have a great idea for Minecraft that you think really needs to be in the game, will you still discuss it at Mojang or do you just put it in the game?
I don't put it in the game. I will, if I get a really good idea, I will go to like either Jens or Dinnerbone, depending on who's there, kind of just drop the hint in a subtle way.
Just like questions asked, and put it in the game.
Sorry, closer to the mic.
Sorry. So just like no questions asked, just put it in the game.
No, I don't tell them what to do. They can do whatever they want. Thank you.
Okay, guys, we have time for 5 more questions. Just 5 more questions, okay?
What's your favorite nether mob?
I'm terrified of the ghasts, like super terrified. And there's, especially when the C418, like, before we had the sounds for them, they were kind of fine. But when they got the sounds, they terrify me, so the ghasts.
Hi. What inspired you to make Herobrine?
He's not real.
How did you come up with the mob names?
Well, most of them are very like self-describing. Duck, chicken thing, cow, skeleton, and then like the creeper is because it was creepy, and then I don't know. The ones with more clever names are usually Jens's mobs.
Do you have any tips for people who are learning or going to learn Java?
I think when you're learning a language, it's always a good idea to learn other languages as well. Like, maybe not at the same time, but at least so you know what the difference between your language and other language, what the differences are, because then you can kind of know what the strengths are. And sometimes the language you like isn't the best tool for something. So it's very good to do that. And it's, other than that, it's a fairly straightforward language.
Thank you. I was just wondering, why do you dress like me?
Hang on.
And also, have you ever thought about a top hat cane and that sort of situation?
No, but I think actually a top hat would fit Jens very well.
It does work quite well.
We tried to trick him into buying one, but he didn't fall for it.
Oh, no. And would you mind signing my head afterwards?
If I have time, yeah. I think I have to run to something, I don't know.
Well, thank you guys for your questions. Notch. Oh, I'm sorry. I thought that was 5. One more.
Hi Notch, what is your favorite game?
Favorite?
Game. Favorite game.
Game? Dungeon Master 2, probably.
Okay.
Thank you.
All right, thank you everyone for your questions.
Thank you.
Notch is going to be here all weekend. Right now, he does have to kind of run, though. He won't have time to stay and do autographs at this moment, but he will be around. And if you see him, say hi. And if you see him moving very quickly, then just step aside. But thank you for chatting with me and for chatting with everyone here. I think their questions were actually considerably more interesting.
Yeah, I agree. Look, I mean, yours were fine.
Oh, yeah, mine were fine, and theirs were more interesting. All right. Thank you, everyone.